Hit the Target podcast.
Hello and welcome to Hit the Target, powered by Hollywood Bets. I'm your host, Deshawn, and with me in studio today is football manager Dylan Kerr.
It's good to be back home. It's been 18 months, but it's good to be back. And I know we've had these conversations in the recent weeks, and finally I was able to come today. But no, thank you for inviting me back into this fantastic building.
Of course, you're a friend of the room. Coach, lovely to have you back in Durban. Tell us, how have you been and where have you come from?
I've been good. I've been in Johannesburg with Marumo Gallants.
Yeah.
That didn't go to plan, forcing me to leave Johannesburg and come back down to Umhlanga, where I've got lots of family and friends here, and I'm happy here. So it's been what now, a week. Arrived in Umhlanga. And it's like I've never left.
Yeah, of course. Well, it was your third stint with Gallants, if I'm not mistaken. Quite an abrupt exit. Not your longest job with them.
Yeah, where can we start? The chairman, obviously, we were speaking.
Yeah.
As we were very close. We were very, very good friends. And he was informing me that he was in the process of buying Swallows.
Right.
I told him he must be mad because of, the history of what Swallows, the year I was there.
You're talking about the player strikes and stuff
like that?
With the player strikes,
with the salary issues. And, but the chairman loves football.
Yeah.
He wanted to be back in the Premiership with Marumo Gallants. And until, I think that there were 2 or 3 weeks that it was negotiating with David. And then he sent me a message and said, look, would I come back and help him fulfill his dream of building a status? And that status was going to be Bloemfontein, which was really why I accepted the position, because I didn't really want to come back. I'd come back to England on the back of being relegated with Marumo Gallants. Even though I was head coach, it was my responsibility. It was taken out of my hands due to, what happened at the club previously in the CAF semi-final and the final game.
Yeah. And
it really went against all my principles and all my beliefs in football. And I went back home to the UK to look for work there. And 12 months later, not having too many job replies or applications that were offering me interviews, I think I had 3 in a year. The chairman asked me to come back, and within 2 days I was on the flight. Yeah. And I arrived in Johannesburg and started straight away. Yeah,
100%. Was it the same kind of club that you came back to?
It wasn't. Obviously, when Swallows contracted players, they were part of the package of when they bought Swallows status. And then you'd had a lot of the NFD squad. In fact, when I arrived, I think we had 68 players at training.
Wow.
And there was a lot of them that were out of contract. There was a lot of players that were up for renewed contracts as well. And obviously you got the ones at Swallows, plus loads of trialists. So it had changed, the dynamics had changed. The chairman was still the same. They had the same media, general manager, team manager. But then when I arrived, and this is one of the things I said to the chairman, please don't have a surprise for me when I arrived, because I wanted to, it's a big thing that the chairman spent a lot of money. Yeah. Previously spent a lot of money on TTM, and then he obviously changed to Marumo Gallants, and then he's bought the Swallow status and kept Gallants' name. And I didn't want any surprises when I arrived, and within an hour stepping off the plane, I found that he'd appointed a COO, and it didn't sit right with me, that. But obviously it's his money, it's his club.
Of course, it didn't stop there. I believe a technical team was also assembled without your knowledge.
Well, Umpo Maleka, who was working with me at TTM, and alongside David, who's now at Chiefs Academy, I've known Umpo since 2009 when I came to Umpo Maleka and Black Aces. Yeah. Umpo was my striker. And because we'd worked well, and he was part of the Marumo Gallants in the NFD, so I knew Umpo. And then there were another coach called Stanley who was hired, I think, for the last 6 or 7 games in the NFD. Dina, who was the masseur and kind of physio. Stefan, the goalkeeper coach. So I knew them. But you know, the chairman wasn't, you know, happy with the way things were happening with the certain members of the staff, and he wanted to change the dynamics. And I didn't need that. I didn't need that because I needed somebody that I trusted, and I trust in Paul Maleka.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've known him since 2009. We speak quite often, you know, when I was in the UK, because we always, you know, see how things are going. And yeah, he wanted to change the dynamics of the technical team, and that I wasn't given the input. I was asked to who can I bring? I mean, Sean Bartlett would have been a good contact to bring into the club. Delano Hendricks, who was working at La Masia, he would have been a good person to bring into the club, you know, as part of my backroom team. But unfortunately, and it's happened in every club, I've never had that, been afforded that luxury. I've always taken on the staff that have been given to me by the chairman of the club, and some of it's worked, some haven't. But the dynamics of not knowing your technical team and bringing in people you don't know, people you don't trust. Yeah,
of course, you've got no background.
Yeah, you know, you try and find a bit of information. They were going to appoint, I think it's the Kasvik Stars head coach, Sundra Govenda, as my assistant, along with a video analysis guy called Razny. And I didn't know them.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously you've got to do your due diligence, and I went to speak to a few people, and 4 out of 5 didn't have a good word to say about him. Right. So straight away you're thinking, you know, what's his motive to leave Kasvik Stars to come to Marumo Gallants as an assistant when you're head coach? And you try and find a bit of information, but I approached it in a different way. I wanted to meet both of them separately to get to know them. But straight away, I said to Sundra that, you know, I wasn't here to judge him on what other people were commenting in, because everybody's got opinions.
Yeah.
You know? And I kind of said it in the wrong way, which he took an offence to, because I wasn't able to explain, listen, I don't want to judge you on what 4 out of 5 people have said. I want to judge you on what you are, who you are, find out a bit about you, but we never got to that. He just abruptly left.
I see.
And I don't know if he's still at Kasvik or he's joined Marumo, I don't know. But Razny, the video analysis coach, as he calls himself, he joined the club. So yeah. So again, no club in the world, you know, has a technical team appointed for them.
Yeah.
You know, but only in
South Africa.
Well, East Africa as well. Yeah. You know, so you always inherit the people there. And the problem, what I found here, is that the motivation for other coaches, the motivation for other people at the club, they haven't got your self-interest at heart. I remember speaking to somebody at Stellenbosch, and all the technical team, one of the technical team members said to me that all the technical team behind Steve Barker, because if Steve Barker fails, they're out of a job. So they have to support Steve. They have to do the things that Steve requires. And look at them, you know, they're in CAF this weekend. They finished strong last year in the PSL. So that's the team of staff that you need, that have got your back, that are watching everything that you're doing and promoting what you're doing. And unfortunately, in my time at Marumo Gallants this time, you know, I didn't get that at all. And my professional ethics, my professional belief, and the way I've been taught to be a player and a coach, you know, the dynamics wasn't right, and unfortunately ended up with me not resigning, because I never signed a contract, never agreed to a contract with the chairman in principle. But what happened after a lengthy meeting, I came out of that office knowing that the dynamics of the game have changed. Yeah. And one of the things, a head coach is responsible for the football club. And that's both on and off the field. And I didn't feel that I got the support of anybody in that office. Well, I think there was 7 technical staff, 4 technical staff, 3 members of staff. And I didn't
And these are the people that are meant to have your back,
They're,
supposedly.
you know, everybody. Yeah, the chairman's employed me to run the club.
Yeah.
Basically, but somewhere in between the month that I was there, things were said, things were going on behind my back that the chairman, who previously in 2 stints that I worked for him, never questioned, never asked. You know, he just let me get on with the job, let me do what I would do and do very, very well. And this never happened. The chairman was questioning this and was questioning that. And that's not my chairman. My chairman never do that.
Mm.
Yes, he was worried about his 45 million plus investment, but I felt other people were informing him of different things, you know, telling him about different players, bringing different players in, forcing players out. That was my job. That's my role as head coach. Because at the end of the day, I'm responsible. It's my position as head coach that has to deal with that. And Rufus, the team manager, media guy, whatever he wants to be called, he says there's no I in team, correct, it's us and we. And my question was to him, but if we lose our first 3 games, do we get fired or do I get fired?
You make an excellent point.
So I have to do the best for the football club and for the chairman, but I didn't feel like everybody was pulling in a different direction. Everybody had an opinion, and that opinion wasn't in what I was trying to achieve or trying to do in that short space of time, which was assemble a squad, make sure that we were all singing from the same hymn sheet, make sure we were working hard, making sure we were progressing every single day. And I always felt that off the field things were happening behind my back that just didn't sit right with me. So when I left that meeting, I was getting questioned by this second assistant, Stanley, and this video analysis coach, as he calls himself. And I didn't like it. And when I left, just before I got home, I got a message from the chairman that said they were going to bring 2, the management had agreed to bring 2 co-coaches to work alongside me. And I just said, Chairman, no thank you.
The writing was on the wall.
I'm going, yeah. Only in South Africa, you know, you get co-coaches. Yes, it kind of works for Sundowns, but then Compella left because he didn't feel part of that. Rulani left. Compella's come back. So he's working with, you know, that Frenchman, Romain Folz, and with Ngoba. Yeah. You know, so kind of I don't think it works, but I couldn't work with a co-coach. You're on different playing levels.
I don't think you are questioning the chairman's ambition, maybe just the way in which some of the appointments were made?
Yes, I mean, like I said, when we'd played a friendly and I was called to his office for a meeting, and then next minute this Sundra and Razni came into the office and he says, oh, this is your first assistant and this is your video analysis. And I was like, it's your club, chairman, you know, you're the boss. Yeah. At the end of the day,
it's your club, yeah.
I'm answerable to you. You know, you're not answerable to me. Obviously, it wasn't any. I didn't know the guys, you know. And like I said, on a football level, you know, the dynamics in football is you need somebody. You want to work with somebody that you know is going to do what you want to do and how you want to do it. And I've had previous technical team that are doing it for their own reasons, and they're doing it kind of to make them look good, kind of wanting your position, wanting to be head coach. And I've been through that 4 times. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's not through inexperience, it's not through, you know, a once-off. And it just didn't sit right with me. So, yeah.
Was it the same case with players as well? Because, you know, of course, the transfer window is still open, and having come into the club, you mentioned 60-odd players being there, but surely there's a few that you wanted to bring along with you?
I did. I brought in 6 players, you know, 3 from Swallows. I brought a couple from TTM. I brought one from who was playing at Tux. And I actually invited a striker from Burkina Faso, but he didn't arrive until I actually left. And I think out of the 6 players that came, I think Camo Mklatsi is the only one that's still there. But I don't know. I don't know. But it seemed, again, that my opinion and my knowledge in the game of players, which I'm sorry to say, is 1,000 times better than the COO, who is an agent previously, the general manager, and the assistants. You know, my knowledge of the game, you know, and the knowledge of the players in this country. You know, I thought you buy players, it's like a jigsaw. You get a jigsaw puzzle and you have to buy the right players to fit into that jigsaw. So the missing pieces, you know, they can't be of a different shape or size because they won't fit. So you have to get your players that you think, right, hang on, I can just slip him into midfield, I can slip him into a full-back or a striker, and you don't have to bang and hammer and twist it to fit. It all fits into a jigsaw, and that's how I've built my career, both as a footballer and as a coach.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, in concluding this point here, are you happy with your decision? Do you feel that maybe there was some sort of way in which you could have worked together with the team that you were that you had in front of you, or was there no chance whatsoever?
No, like I said, when I got here, the chairman, and the chairman was kind of panicking because there were a lot of negativity about him purchasing Swallows. Again, our media manager, team manager, he kind of had this thought that Marumo Gallants in the NFD, the team that nearly got relegated, could finish in the top 8 in the PSL. And, you know, I kept telling the chairman, this team's not good enough. This team will not survive in the PSL. You need to buy experience. And the market for players now is massive because there's so many players, good players, being released and can't get clubs. And I knew and I felt that had we gone into that season with the squad that I'd inherited, with the Swallows players as well, I didn't believe it was good enough.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, again, you know, my input into the club was overseen by other people around him. There were players coming on trial that shouldn't have been there. There were players which I released that were out of contract. The very next day, they brought back. You know, Washington Arubi, I love the guy. You know, he's a great athlete, great sportsman, a great goalkeeper. You know, for instance, he called me and he'd been released by Gavin at Supersport, and he called me and he said, "Look, coach, can I come and train? Can I come and play?" I said, "But Ruby, not yet, because I've got 7 goalkeepers, so we don't really need another goalkeeper." And it wasn't to be anything. It wasn't being personal. I wasn't being. It was just we got 7 goalkeepers, so why bring 8? And obviously, Washington was part of the problem that cost us the CAF semi-final and cost us relegation. And I didn't feel that me personally, him coming back would have added. The next day, he arrived at training, obviously gone behind my back and phoned Rufus, asked to come training. Rufus invited him, and, you know, and there he was. Yeah. So things like that, you know that you're going to fight a losing battle. Yeah. So no, I've got no regrets. I feel healthy in mind, healthy in body, healthy in spirit. I'm happy to be back in Umslanga. Yeah. I hate not playing. I hate not training. But the football season started in England, so the weekends are filled with football in the UK, and in another couple of weeks it'll be Spain, it'll be Germany, it'll be Italian football, and soon the PSL. Yeah. Well, speaking of England, you of course have the image of Sam Allardyce in this country, where you are with a guy that, you know, that relegation specialist, get the phone call, "Coach, can you save us?" And, you know, do you think you are going to do something like that this season? Are you expecting a call? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm like I say, at the moment, I'm looking at this experience, and everything you do in life, you know, you always learn from your mistakes. You always see people and see yourself in a different light when things are going good, things are going bad, things are indifferent, and I don't know where the journey's going to go next. Yeah. I mean, in November, I got offered a job in New York, but due to a visa issue, which is still ongoing, I'm unable to take that position. So, and that was director of coaching for a club in Long Island, and that was in a different role compared to being a head coach. So, you know, who knows? You know how things are, how fickle South African football is. You know, the first coach to lose the first 3 games, he's going to be fired. So you never know. Look at Sekekune, have already released the coach. Richards Bay released the coach. Myself left. I think there's one other coach that's not going to start the season.
I think it's the Sekekune, Peter Ibala, Fusi, Lakazi at Richards Bay, and of course yourself. That's a
like I say, and the season's not kicked off yet. See, there was a plan with me and Marumo Gallants, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to fulfil that plan because of what I would honestly say is interference. Because that's why I believe, and I've not had an explanation from the chairman. And it'd be nice to actually get a phone call from him, and just him to be honest with me and tell me, what was happening. Yeah,
100%. Well, you have churned out those smash and grab performances in the past. Can you just open up on your coaching philosophy and tell us where exactly you get those inspirational performances from?
It's like any job, you've got to, when you're in a team or a company, you've got to make sure that everybody's happy.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to provide them with a service that they will respond to, and they will say, yeah, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this team. I want to be part of this squad. I want to be part of this starting 11. And I've always come into football as a player, as a 16-year-old starting at Sheffield Wednesday, going on through till I retired at Hamilton Academicals in 2003. So, and I've won every trophy with every club I've been with, and as a coach, I've done the same. 4 times in South Africa, I've saved 4 statuses, so that's a success as well. Because at the time, you're brought in to do a job that teams are relegation certainties. They're going down, but we proved everybody wrong, and 4 out of the 5 statuses, and we would have done it. We would have done it at Marumo Gallants.
Yeah.
I had 20 games in probably just over 2 months. So we were playing 3 games a month. 3 games a week. Plus we were travelling. And I always look at it as if I'm climbing Everest and I'm just at the top. And we're just about to reach the summit. And within 48 hours, the mentality of the players had gone purely for financial greed. In no other football association or any other football club I've ever been in would put a game in jeopardy because they think that they're owed something from the chairman because they've just got to a semi-final. And it's unfortunate that one of the publications in the soccer fraternity had put out there that the chairman was going to get 14 million rand, and they wanted a percentage of that. And the frightening thing about it is that 24 hours before one of the biggest games of anybody's career, to get to the semi-final with Marumo Gallants against the opposition that we had to face was an outstanding achievement. And as I've said, did Man City lose the final against Man United last season in the FA Cup? Did they go to the chairman and say, we want a bonus because we got to the final? Did Liverpool go to their chairman and say, well, we got to the semi-final, can we have a bonus? No.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anywhere in the world, but these players did that. And, because I'm the head coach, I have to take responsibility for that because the chairman brought me in to save his status. And unfortunately, it never happened like that. And one of the players I had coffee with a couple of weeks ago in the Mall of Africa, he told me, Coach, that last game of the season, because what had happened, we just wanted the club relegated. And he's gone on to bigger and better things, this one player, but the rest of the squad, struggling to find work. Some have stayed in the game, but at SAB level or NFD level. A few of them have moved on to bigger and better clubs, but I would say 80%, are out of work. So it completely ruined a lot of lives and a lot of livelihoods.
Yeah, of course. Your coaching net must be cast far and wide. Tell us, where exactly is the PSL on that continental level? You've talked about your travels to Gallants, taking them as far as the CAF semi-final there.
Yeah, look, we played in Algeria, we played in Libya, we played in Zambia because the team from DRC couldn't play in their country. we got to a level where, had we got to the final, we played the eventual winners, Uzma of Algeria. We beat them we lost 1-0 away from home. We beat them at home, I think 3-1, I think or was it 3-0? We beat them at home, and we were playing them. We'd have played them in the final, and I believe, in all honesty, we would have won that final. And to be chosen to be Team of the Year in CAF as well, was an honour as well. But we matched his own. We gave as good as we got, and obviously the Libya debacle was just. It can only happen to Marumo Gallants, you know, from landing in Istanbul to landing in Libya 3 days later, jumping off the plane, going straight to the stadium, getting stripped in 20 minutes and playing the game. And, you know, it takes some doing. But just before kickoff, I heard we'd qualified the group stages. And I didn't tell the players. And obviously the game, we lost 4-1. But from the way things happened, we only had 13 players. We had to leave 6 in Istanbul. You know, so we achieved a great deal. And like I say, had the players not lost that mentality to go into a game, not worried about what they're going to get out of it, again, if they'd have got to the final, they'd have got 24 million. Yeah. You know, and just to settle for 14 million just doesn't make sense. Yeah. But in football, once you lose that mentality to go out there and play the game right, then it's always going to be difficult. Yeah. And when we played the second leg, I managed to convince the players at 12 o'clock that kick-offs at 2. Kick-off were at 6. You know, I managed to convince the players, listen, you know, we're playing this game. And unfortunately, we lost again. Yeah.
Well, of course, there are a few players that have made it to those North African nations, you know. Talking about your Fagri Lakay some years ago, he made a move to Pyramids. Kanisa Mayo more recently, Elias Makwana. Do you think some of our players are ready to compete at that level?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interest from not just North African clubs, but even East African clubs. Makudabela, Skudu went to Yanga on the back of playing against him for Marumo. And unfortunately, I think he's back in the country now looking for a club. But he had an experience of playing at Yanga. I mean, their support is absolutely fanatical, like Simba. You know, they're like the kind of chiefs and pirates of South African football. But yeah, it's good to see. I mean, Gift Links is in Copenhagen. He's doing very, very well there. You got Fosler at Burnley. I watched them the other day. I thought he was very, very good. And I know it's been very, very difficult for them. But I think now the opportunity for South African players to go to the likes of North African teams, it's only going to be better for the country, because it kind of is an overlooked country when it comes to European clubs. It's very, very difficult to break into the UK market, so they have to go through possibly North Africa to go into Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, France, where it's a lot easier. And then the next step is into the UK Premier League, because everybody wants to be there. Yeah. I'll give you an example. Evidence Mukopa. He should be playing in Denmark before he signed for Pirates. But he decided to sign for Pirates. He could have gone to FC Copenhagen. And I believe now they're still trying to negotiate for him to go there. And as I said to him as a 21-year-old, you know, by the time you're 24, you need to be in the Premier League. And you will be earning millions. But, you know, he's stayed loyal to Pirates. He's made the Bafana national team. But for me, you know, he's got to think outside the box now and go and prove himself before, you know, he'll turn around, look in the mirror and say, oh, I wish I'd have done that, or I should have done that. But then he's going to be retired, 36. And well, having regrets.
Do you feel like the players need that North African move first, or are you saying that they actually are at a high enough caliber to play in Europe?
I think players in South Africa have got an ability. I think, and not just an ability, they've got an energy level that, you know, is on a different playing curve to everybody else. Yeah. Because of the heat, the altitude, the way that Africans play, South Africans play. I think they can benefit not just the smaller European clubs. Because you look at Percy Tau, you know, he went over to Belgium and then he ended up at Brighton of Albion. And that's a great achievement. and he didn't really make the grade at Brighton. I think he went on loan somewhere, and then he went over to Egypt and signed for Al Ahly. And now he's tipped maybe to come back to Chiefs, but it only takes one player to earn a lot of respect in Europe to then open the doors. Because a lot of people say, well, why is no South Africans playing in England? There is one. And if he does very, very well in the Championship, then clubs will, look at the South African market more.
Yeah. Why do you feel some of those players that are abroad don't get selected for the national team?
That's a question you need to ask Mr. Bruce. It's again, he's... What I liked about the coach when I met him a few years ago at Orlando Stadium was that he wanted to do things a certain way, and it took time. There were a lot of pressure on him. Yes, he went to AFCON. They didn't really play well, in the AFCON, but they got to I think it was semi-finals, and now that kind of momentum took them into the World Cup qualifiers, and they've done very, very well at the moment. And they're still not qualified yet. They've still got a long way to go. They've still got a long way to go, but it needed a bit of time, and I think it does bring the right players. He does get the opportunity to bring the right players in. Don't listen to anybody else's opinion. Listen to your own judgment. Go on to Denmark and see how Giflings was playing. Go to Pyramids and go and see it and watch them play. Because that's all the part and parcel of being an international manager. Yeah. Because it's a long, trek to travel the world to look at players, but if South Africa can qualify for America, Canada and Mexico in 2026, again, it'd be a massive, massive boost for the country. Yeah, 100%. Well, Coach, I started this off by asking where you had come from, and I'm going to conclude it asking, where are you going from now? I'm playing in a golf tournament tomorrow is it Cotswold Downs? I've never played there. I've been invited to a competition with some friends. But right now, I'm just enjoying this beautiful weather. I'm enjoying wherever I go, Gateway. The beauty of it, obviously, because of the tattoos, people come and want a selfie, want to talk to me. And I think in football, when you get somebody or one fan, whether it's a boy, a girl, a man or a woman, that comes up to you and says, "Coach, footsie." Sorry for swearing, guys, but I love that word. Then you know that you've not done a good job. But I was in Gateway yesterday, just to walk through the shopping centre. I must have had 30, 40 selfies with security guards, with Indian football fans. I actually had a South African white player, or school player, shout "Coach," obviously with the tattoos. But yeah, I mean, the football fraternity in this country for fans that like the game, I just wish they could embrace it more and go and watch the game, go to the stadium, and let's get Moses and Bida filled up. Let's get Kumashu, Princess Magogo filled up. Let's get the stadium in Orlando Stadium and FNB Stadium full of Chiefs and Pirates fans. Sundowns, obviously they've had the success, so the expectations for Sundowns is massive. But when you walk around, as I do in town, when I do at Gateway, when I do at Lelusha Mall, when I do down in Umslanga, even Umsloti, it's great because people just want to come and say hi. Yeah. And the value in that, for me personally, is it keeps me healthy and it keeps me happy. Yeah. Coach. And obviously coming here with you guys. It's been a pleasure unpacking all things local football related with you. We're going to end it over here now. Football fans, I hope you enjoyed Dylan Kerr on the segment. Do let us know what you think about his discussion in the comments. From all of us in studio, thanks and goodbye.
Hit the Target Podcast.